Hello, everyone, and good morning. I wanted to come out here and just connect to God and connect to our earth and just give you a little story. I wanted to share with you a story of creation. We're about to celebrate Christmas. We're about to celebrate Christ and his birth. Um, yes, it's done at this time, right around the winter solstice, which is a pagan holiday. And the story of the winter solstice is it is the longest winter day. So if you survived that winter day on December 21st, then you can survive anything, and then you rejoice and you celebrate that you're able to survive. They now celebrate Christ, Jesus, as his birthday in this time. Now, they say that he was actually born in September 11th. And now you kind of understand why we were attacked on September 11th. It was actually an attack on God and his children. But here we are. Winter solstice. Today is the 21st of December, and there is a period of time that is the winter solstice. It starts on the 19th and ends on the 21st. We start celebrating on the 24th, the birth of Jesus. Last year on the winter solstice, we had planets aligning that we were able to see in the sky, that they aligned, and it actually looked like a cross in the sky, and we were all able to see it last year. I hope you guys had a chance. You guys can Google it. And they were calling it the Star of Bethlehem, because when Jesus was born, the wise men found Jesus, the birth of Jesus, because they followed. There were people that studied astrology and the signs, and the signs came from above. Like it's in our Bible over and over, that all signs will be in the sky. God's not going to send you a text message. He's actually going to put the signs in the sky. So when Jesus was born, the planets were aligned, and it showed the cross. It showed the Star of Bethlehem, and the wise men showed up to where Jesus was born, and that's how they found him. So here we are celebrating the birth of Christ, Jesus Christ, that actually took the ultimate sacrifice of putting himself to die and resurrect. He gave himself for no more sacrifice. He would be the ultimate perfect sacrifice, so that there would be no more killing. So here we are again celebrating his birth. He was born, and then at 33 years old, he was crucified and resurrected. When he resurrected, he showed himself to many people, and it wasn't just one person, it was many. It was Mary Magdalene, his disciples, and a huge community of people that saw him resurrect. And after he resurrected, he told his people to go and spread the word. And God is within. So all the disciples, there was 12 disciples, all of them took off to different regions of the world to preach the word. Some stayed, right? There was one that stayed and actually became the very first pope of the Roman rule 30 years after, I believe it was 30 years after Jesus was crucified. But most of the disciples, 11 of them, took off to different regions. My descendants, my direct descendants, were the family of Christ. So that those descendants ended up in what is Iberia, which is now Spain, Portugal. So they ended up there and they were protected by the kingdom, because they knew they were the blood of Christ. And in a certain time, about 700 years ago, they started to go to what the promised land was to them in that time. And it is, the promised land is the Americas. In that time, it wasn't Mexico, it wasn't the United States, it was barely being discovered. So for example, what today is Mexico, it used to be called New Spain. It was conquered by the Spaniards. So all the people of Christ when the Spanish kingdom was going down because the British were going to take it over. You got to remember that the kingdom is supposed to be the blood of Christ. That's the rule. The descendants of David, it's the same lineage, right? But when the British were going to take over, like what we have today, we have the Queen of England, right? She holds all the crowns, her and all her family. Well, when that rule was about to take over the Spanish kingdom, the Spaniards started having all the blood of Christ, all the people of Christ, all those Jewish people to leave Europe. And we ended up in what New Mexico was at that time, and it is now Mexico. So we got there and we repopulated. The rest of the tribes, again, went to different parts of the world. For example, Czechoslovakia, Africa, they went to different parts of the world to populate. Unfortunately, the ones that stayed in Europe were affected by the Holocaust, right? They were prosecuted because of who they were, and they were massacred. We were not affected. The Sephardim, that is that blood that I'm telling you about, which I'm a descendant of, we were protected. And that's what I say, we were protected, and I thank God for that. And the reason he protected us so that we can multiply, right? And we would not be exterminated, right? Again, the people that stayed in Europe, they had to go through that horrible thing. First they were enslaved by the Egyptians for a very long time, and then they were freed by Moses, and then they had to go through the Holocaust because everybody wanted to kill it was Inquisition. They were constantly trying to get rid of the blood of Christ and in the name of Christ, because a lot of the assassinations that happened where they would burn you at the stake was performed by the Catholic Church. They would say, well, you're practicing Judaism and now you have to be Catholic, but because you were practicing Judaism, now we're going to kill you at the stake. And that's what happened around the world. They would kill you for who you were. The people that survived the Holocaust, the people that survived all of that massacre, are now the people in charge of the world. They're the Rockefellers, they're the Maxwells, they're the Rothschilds. All of those people have survived the Holocaust. And because they survived the Holocaust, they no longer wanted to be stepped on. So what did they do? They said, well, we're not going to wait for God. We're not going to wait for God, because you got to remember, everybody that stayed over there in Europe, all of those Jewish people that didn't believe that Christ was the Messiah, and they kept practicing the Old Testament and only that, all those people thought that God just forgot about them because they don't believe that Jesus is the Messiah. So they're still waiting for that. So they got tired of waiting. So they said, now we're going to be God. We will control the money and we can control the world, and no one will step on us again. That's where we're at, guys. All these people that are controlling the entire world, the bank system, all of them are Jewish. All of them. And the reason that they're controlling, and I'm not giving it, I'm not justifying them. I'm just telling you the story, why they got to where they're at. And they now will do anything to be always on top. They don't believe in God, they believe in money. The bank system, they're all Jewish. And that's why they're where we're at. You got to understand that every promise will be revealed. It's going to happen, not just all the bad stuff, the good stuff too. God allowed all of us to do our will so we can get to this, to learn the lessons, to understand that we all have a story. If we go to the dark side, we always have a justification, right? Well, they did this to me, now I'm going to do that. Now, that's not the way to do it. Jesus told you, they slap you once, you give them the other cheek. Because if you start fighting back, it's never ending. And that's where we're at. It's never ending. The people that were at the bottom now say, well, we're going to be on the top and we'll smush you up. You're not going to do that to us anymore. So that's what happened. And that's why we're in this control system, this matrix that you call it, right? Now, the truth, and I want to give you some hope in all this, is that the children of God are here. All 144,000 souls, star seeds that have helped humanity in the last 6,000 years are here today. The time where Jesus, his blood, him himself, is here because we're living Revelations. And after Revelations, we have the promise of a loving 1,000 years of love and peace. And you say, well, how is that going to happen with all this chaos that's happening? Right? How is that going to happen? In the Bible, it says that Jesus is going to come with all the crowns upon his head. He's not going to come like a poor little child that was born in someone's pasture. Now it's going to be, he's going to come with all the crowns. And you say, how is that going to happen? He's going to fly in. How is that going to happen? Well, the righteous people, the righteous one, will have all the crowns. Because right now, and here's the truth. The queen that's in charge, Queen Elizabeth, she's got the crown. And then she has given the crown to everybody around the world, which is her family, because they own 75% of the world. They don't own the Americas. They own 75% of the world. And all those crowns, it's supposed to be the blood of Christ that takes over the crown. And that's not the blood of Christ. It was just a war that they won. So when the righteous one comes, because it will come, they will take all the crowns, not only of Queen Elizabeth, but all the crowns she has given. And when that happens, when the righteous one comes for those crowns, the true blood of Christ, it will be given back to the whole world. Because that's the promise, that we're all going to have that olive branch. We're all going to have that piece of land equally. Because at this point, we understand that we're all equal. You know, those 144 souls that are here today, they're star seeds. They're souls that are helping humanity get to where we need to be. Jesus was a star seed, right? The ultimate star seed. And that's what we're waiting, right? We're here because all those 144 souls that are here are connecting the entire world. I know who I am. I know I am a star seed. I know and I remember. And I'm telling you to remember. If I'm one of those seeds, whoever I'm connected to, their light is lighting up. Not because I'm the ultimate light and I'm giving you my light and now you're a light. No, let me tell you how it works. I know who I am. My light is fully shining because I'm connected to God. God is guiding me, right? He's the one giving the message, right? I'm just the messenger, right? So he speaks through me. He speaks breath through me. I'm speaking breath to you. I'm giving you the message. When I give you the message, I'm giving you oxygen, right? Because we all have that little speck of energy, that little fragment of God, because we're his children, right? We all have it. But we're so polluted from programs and the world that our light has no oxygen. We're completely polluted. We're like a candle, right? We have this wick in there, but it's not lit because there's no oxygen, right? It's just like a candle. When you cover it up, the light turns off, right? But if I breathe into you, if God breathes into you, you have oxygen. Now you light it up. Now you're the light. I didn't give you the light. You had that light. That's your light. Now you can go light another light. We're all star seeds. It's just that 144 woke up at the same time. And we're all connected. I understand that you are all my brothers and sisters. We're all brothers and sisters in humanity. We're human. And we're all connected. Just myself, I know people around the world that I'm connected to. And I'm just one. And I know so many, right? That I literally know them physically, that I've made a connection with them, brothers and sisters. And I'm just one person. So can you imagine 144,000? And then everybody we affect? That's you, guys. It's time for you to give the message. It's time for you to breathe. It's time for you to breathe into others. Love yourself and love the people around you, your neighbors. This is the only way we're going to rise up. You know, I'm going to close it off with Noah. You know, this is something that when I ask God, how can I say something so profound in such a short period of time? Because most of us have a very short span. You listen for 5 minutes and you're done. You know, even 30 seconds. My videos are always super long. So if you guys have made it all the way through the end, I applaud you. But I asked God, I said, how can I say something so profound so that they can understand? And immediately I received that download. He said, N.O.A.H, the acronym N.O.A.H. N for nutrition. So you start with yourself, with what you put in, what you don't put in, what you listen to. You start with self. So N for nutrition. O for opportunity. Be able to identify all the opportunities that God gives you, right? And then A for action and accountability, because when you see the opportunities, you have to take action. You have to move forward. And accountability, because there's an accountability attached to every action we do. And the last one is history. History. We need to know where we came from to understand where we're going. Everything had to happen according to his plan. He gave us will. He gave us will. We're the ones that did all this. But he allowed it because he understood that all those were going to be lessons that we were going to learn. And now we're here. We understand what to do and what not to do. And the way we know that is by connecting to God with ourselves, because we understand what's right and what's wrong. When we feel that anxiety, when we feel shame, when we feel fear, then you know what? There's something wrong. We're human. The human experience is feeling. God throws little pebbles at you, little bricks at you to wake you up. And sometimes that shit hurts. Excuse my language, but that's the truth. And sometimes the harder the blow, it hurts even more, and we learn. But we don't have to be down in the mud learning anymore. We can learn from the past. Learn from the past. Live in the present. It's the gift today, and move forward. Dream, create. We're creators just like God. We duplicate. What we do, we duplicate. It's contagious. If you're positive, other people are going to be positive. If you're focusing on the light, other people are going to focus. The problem has been that we feel like we're so small that we can't make a difference, when in reality, one person can make a difference. And here we are. It's time for you to make a difference. Shine. Shine as bright as you are. And be you. God bless you guys, and Merry Christmas. Bye-bye, guys.